Despite the oversaturation of open world games in 2024, they still remain very popular, which is for a good reason, because even though developers like Ubisoft love releasing the same game following the same mediocre blueprint that peaked in 2012 with maps full of icons, copy-pasted missions, enemy camps, etc., but with a higher price tag and 3 days early access for an extra $40, there are still devs that put passion into their games, and just 4 years ago in 2020, we got two. CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk, which at the time still needed some work, and Ghost of Tsushima, which was made by Sucker Punch Studios, who has yet to release another fucking infamous game. Now, we already covered Cyberpunk, link in the description, so today we shift our focus to Ghost of Tsushima, a game that on release as an exclusive in one of the last major titles for the PS4 was met with critical acclaim by both critics and players, selling 5 million copies in 3 months, getting a director's cut a year later, and just 2 months ago, a port to PC, which ended up being the most sold game of May 2024, by the way, with people saying stuff like, "I get to see Jin's cheeks every time he rests in a hot spring." But beyond the sales and ratings, what made this game truly stand out? Because in many ways, Ghost of Tsushima mirrors the formulaic design seen in a lot of Ubisoft titles, a formula which people, love making fun of for its repetitive and uninspired approach. Well, I think to start answering this, we have to look at how Ghost of Tsushima immerses you in its world. See, unlike Ubisoft, who loves cluttering your screens with UI and markers, etc., Ghost of Tsushima took a more minimalistic approach, as their UI really only appears when necessary, like for example, when you draw your weapons. This design choice shows a lot of confidence in the players, as it doesn't constantly have to hold your hand, but instead allows you to explore the world more naturally. The guiding winds is another perfect example of this. It's an innovative feature that guides you to your objectives without being intrusive, allowing the players to enjoy the beauty and reactivity of the environments without constantly needing to rely on a minimap. And don't get me wrong, I love minimaps. I mean, thank God for minimaps, but I feel like a lot of other open world titles make it very easy for the players to miss out on the game's world because you're too focused on navigation, turning you into a bit of a map starer. Map stare, is that really what the fuck we wrote? And Ghost of Tsushima does a great job at breaking this habit. And yes, I understand that Ubisoft has done something similar in the past, but unlike the guiding winds, which felt like a natural part of the world, this... what the fuck is this? Now, similar to the guiding winds, the game also uses animals like birds and foxes that lead you to minigame objectives like bamboo strikes, hot springs, haiku spots, or Inari shrines. I mean, it just uses so many different things that are natural to the world to keep you fully immersed. But the immersion of the game doesn't simply stop with exploration, as it extends to the combat as well. See, while a lot of Ubisoft titles suffer from janky animations and a lack of weight in hits, Ghost of Tsushima's combat feels both fluid and responsive. It also offers multiple stances like the game Neo, and I mean, just being able to switch between them to counter specific enemy types keeps the combat so fresh, especially since you'll be unlocking more and more of these stances as you progress through the game. This also symbolizes Jin's progression as a samurai, which is a reoccurring theme in Ghost of Tsushima, as gameplay elements are often tied to the narrative, like with the use of tools and techniques. The game of course encourages you to use everything at your disposal, mirroring Jin's journey as a samurai who is forced to resort to methods even if they're frowned upon by the traditional samurai code, and that is perfectly shown in the gameplay. Stealth is another great example of this. See, while the gameplay strongly encourages it, the story does not, showcasing the tension between Jin's actions and his internal struggle.
You have no honor, and you are a slave to it.
Honestly, I think that Sucker Punch struck a great balance between combat and stealth while making sense of it all narratively, which set it apart from other open world titles. From other Ubisoft. Now, Ghost of Tsushima doesn't just balance stealth and combat well, as it also strikes a very good balance between narrative and freedom, which is a critical area where many Ubisoft games fall short, as every element from side quests to the main story feels very purposeful in this game. Because even while having both cheeks out in Hot Spring, the game never loses sight of its core story. Simply put, the game respects your time by making sure that everything you do contributes to the overall experience. Additionally, the game's deep respect for Japanese culture and history, highlighted by features like the Kurosawa mode, which pays homage to the legendary filmmaker Akira Kurosawa, also enriches the gameplay experience. Now, the meaningful narrative integration, the dynamic combat system, and just the overall cultural respect the game shows to Japan, which apparently is hard to do, set a new standard for how the formula can be used. See, Sucker Punch didn't just adopt said formula. They did what Ubisoft had failed to do time and time again. They elevated it, whereas Ubisoft sort of, like, actually, wait, that's the sound of me touching the floor. I feel like Ghost of Tsushima is a masterpiece, at least to some extent. Which is actually why I feel like it's a bit crazy that Horizon Zero Dawn sold 25 million copies and Ghost of Tsushima only 10. Like, they gotta be botting those fucking numbers, because I swear to God, I've never heard anybody talk positively about Horizon Zero Dawn. What the fuck? What do you think? Leave a comment down below, as I am curious to see what you guys think I missed or whatever else. Leave a like, subscribe, and oh, by the way, new chair, huh? But can you do this? I guess not even I can do this. Anyway, bye!